Greetings, EastEnders fans, and welcome to another episode of Albert Square After Dark, your weekly EastEnders podcast. This week, discussing the episodes broadcast between the 28th of April to the 1st of May 2025. Hello there, how are you this week? Are you alright? Yes? It's getting hotter, isn't it? Yes, I'm sat here sweltering right now, talking to you. Ugh. Hello, Ree, how are you?
I'm all right, Rob. How are you?
I'm
Are you
alright.
not?
Rhea has had a dramatic night, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you. She has had an episode of EastEnders occur in her life. She's had births, she's had fires, she's had everything. Rhea,
Literally.
tell us what happened in your 40th anniversary live episode, which I can only imagine was what this was about. You know, you're just not aware that it was an anniversary of your life in some way.
Well,
Must
if
have
we're
been.
all in a simulation,
I
clearly it
know.
was the anniversary for
Must
me
have
in
been.
some respect or something. Well, not me. So I am now an auntie again,
Yes.
Rob.
Congratulations.
Thank you. My nephew was born last night at the same time as so obviously some of you may know, got a family business. We've got a bar 2 doors up from us last night. The flats above one of the bars that are adjoined, we're all adjoined as well, same
Mm.
buildings, was on fire.
Mm.
So that was fun. So I was literally going to bed last night. You know, you put your phone on charge just before you get to sleep.
Yep.
As I did that, I get a message from my manager, such and such bars on fire. Like, oh, great. So I had to go and call him, like, right, we're getting evacuated. Yep. Evacuated all 3 bars, closed off the street, used our car park for all the fire engines. Sent you a video, didn't
I
I, Rob?
know.
How cool did it
I
look?
know.
To be
It
fair,
looked
like,
proper dramatic.
like no
Proper
one's hurt and
dramatic.
everything,
And
but
oh yeah, no one died, which makes you kind of wonder what was the point of the fire. It was an anniversary story. They
Rob,
didn't
you
even kill
can't
anybody
say
else.
that. You can't say that. It's not
I'm,
actually a soap, it's real
of
life.
course, we're in a soap. This is like the Truman Show, Rhea. No, I'm
When
delighted
life
nobody died.
imitates art, eh?
I know, but then you showed me like the video that you sent me. They have those big crane things that they
They had
have
a
on
big
fire
crane,
engines.
yeah,
Never have
yeah,
them in the
yeah.
soaps, do they? They never get the cranes out for a
They
fire on a
don't,
fire
do they? I
engine.
wonder
No,
why that is. So
no,
anyway, the fire got put out. Nobody was harmed in the
good.
making of that live
No,
episode last night.
the
And then
episode,
my nephew was
anniversary.
born.
Yeah, all very exciting. What a story he's been brought into the world for. That's very,
Yes,
very
of
exciting.
course.
Yes.
Exactly. So
So
there you go.
congratulations on being
Thank
an
you. Well,
auntie.
congrats to my
Oh, yeah,
sister-in-law and
congrats to
brother.
her more than you. Let's
I
be
didn't do
real here.
anything.
You didn't really do a lot, did you? And also, meanwhile, do you have an update
Mm.
on Easter Egg Gate from last week?
It's
If you,
all just
it's
going
all
on in
been
my
kicking
life,
off.
isn't
What a
it,
week
Rob?
you've had! Just in case you missed last week, obviously Easter last week, reopened an Easter egg that was not only had a hole in it, but had also like become all melted and warped and everything in the packaging. So sent an angry letter to first of all the wrong department, and then and then sent an actual letter to the right person. And what was the reply that you got?
So I got a reply, very
All
apologetic, no,
apologetic, yes,
apologetic,
yes.
and explaining that, chocolate should be stored at a certain temperature, and
But it's
clearly
your
this chocolate
fault.
was not so. Well, this is how I were reading it, Rob. I was like, well, I've already told you that I was storing it at the correct temperature. It clearly wasn't
I
me.
bet you
And
weren't.
then they said, so thank you for bringing it to our attention because clearly, like the store wasn't storing it at this
Oh,
temperature. I'm
blame the
like, oh,
store.
good,
Right.
thank
Yeah, yeah,
you.
yeah.
And then they said, here's a link. We're going to send you £5 and hopefully you can enjoy it on some treats. And I thought, okay, I did want you to send me some chocolate to my
Actual
address,
chocolate.
but
Yeah, yeah,
okay, I guess I can go and buy some chocolate with the
yeah.
£5.
Yeah.
So I clicked the link, filled my details in. Where's my fiver? Still haven't seen it, mate. What fiver?
That
What
sounds
fiver?
sounds like another letter needs to be written, Ree.
Well, I think that's going to be next. Unless that goes in my account by the end of the working
Yeah,
day today, another letter's
yeah.
going to be had. Let me tell
Tell
you.
you what, Ree versus
Anyway,
Cadbury, the war continues. Right, ladies and gents, just before we start cracking on with this week's EastEnders, we've got a calendar change to do because it's now May. Are we officially in summer now? Are we in summer? Is May summer? Feels like summer right now, let me tell you.
I think it is
Yeah,
technically. Well, I mean, technically it is spring, but I do think it is summer.
it feels like summer
It
right
is
now, let
summer.
me tell you.
Yeah,
They're saying it's
yeah.
going to be the hottest May on record, they reckon.
Is
Oh,
it? Oh
wait.
gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my
So, the
gosh.
Naked EastEnders men calendar goes from Howie to. Oh, and if
All
oh well, now if
right.
that isn't an appropriate way to start this week, Elijah Holloway standing there, looking pretty damn good, I will say. I will
Mm.
look. I will enjoy having that on my wall for a month.
All right, isn't it
Yeah, it
that?
looks good
Yeah, there you go.
in his mechanic overalls, holding a big old tire. So he is. Yes, very, very good,
That
lovely.
feels like the kind of like naked man calendar you might get a mechanic, doesn't it?
Well, I don't think. Yeah, if you're holding a tire, there's nothing
Is that your
sexy.
first naked man calendar, by the way?
No, of
Of course it's not.
course it's
Of
not.
course it's not.
So this week's EastEnders has been quite a busy one for Harry and the new Mitchells. Lots of developments, lots of reveals, and we also finally, I think, have a storyline in the making that I've been wanting to see on EastEnders for a very, very long time. So that's very exciting as well. So let's crack on with this week's Albert Square After Dark. Right, let's kick off this week with talking about Avani and Joel.
Mm-hmm.
Now then, so first of all, Avani discovers this week that the police complaints that she made is going to go no further. And I don't think anyone's surprised really with that, are they? I don't think it was ever going to go any further. It's
Unfortunately not.
unfortunately how it
As far
goes,
as
isn't
they're
it?
concerned, everything's above board, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, and I think it's just one of those things where it's just like, yeah, well, that's obviously the way it was going to go. Like, it. Why would
But
this case be any different to any of the other times that this is clearly being done? It's just, it's,
But I think Priya should still push it, but I don't know if they're going
yeah.
to continue pushing it. But this is what annoys me about the world, Rob, right?
Oh God, here we go.
Everyone
Right, yeah.
goes, tick boxes. Well, that box is ticked, that box is ticked. You're never allowed to question the tick boxes, are you?
It's all red
How dare
tape.
you question a tick box?
It's all red
Like,
tape
that's
and
it.
forms. Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. Yeah,
Well,
yeah, yeah.
then it's done. No, well, we can question it, especially when it's affecting minors.
Mm,
It's scary though,
it is
especially I've got a
scary.
kid. I don't want
Yeah,
her to go through
exactly.
that.
And then you've got a nephew
Crazy.
now as well.
Two. I've got two of
Two,
them.
two
Yeah,
nephews. Scary. Your family's getting huge, by the way, isn't it?
I know,
Lots
we
and lot.
know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Don't have any more,
Calm
Ray.
down.
Don't have any more. Like a litter of rabbits, your family, honestly. So Priya obviously goes mad when she finds out about this. Storms around to the police station.
Mhm.
Callum has to tell her to stop, otherwise she'll get arrested. And then and
Oh,
then go on.
sorry. We saw the other police officer who was involved, not the
Yes,
blonde haired one, the other
the
lady.
other one.
Do
Yeah.
you not think it were inappropriate that she was the one going to Priya anyway? Like the complaint was like made about her. Why was she speaking to her about it?
I didn't think she was. I thought that was just sort of
Like
like
coincidence of,
yeah,
oh, I'm
she happened to
here
be
and
there. Yeah, she happened to
mm,
be there. Because if it had been the blonde officer, I feel like because that blonde officer was a hard faced cow, so I feel like if that blonde officer had come back into it at that moment, it would have suggested that the story's going to continue because there's that rivalry being established.
yeah.
Whereas the other officer was a little bit more sympathetic. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
but maybe she might step for I don't know because why for me it should have just been
Mm.
somebody we've never seen like an extra rather than her
I mean,
again.
in real life it would have been, but I think just for
Yeah.
simplicity's sake in the story, that's
Yeah.
probably why they did it that way,
All
isn't
right,
it?
fair enough. I can
But
overanalyze things, but yeah, go on.
you never overanalyze anything, Rick. Um, so yeah, Callum then gets involved, and then later at the club, Priya gets drunk and starts having a go at him when they're having an officers' night out. That doesn't help matters either. And then she has to
No.
give him a brownie to apologise because she was out of
Yes.
order. And meanwhile, her daughter is consuming some brownies of her own, I would argue.
Eh?
There's a
Eh?
segue. There's a
Mm,
segue.
mm.
We theorised last week that we thought Avani's journey with drugs might be at an end. It very much is not at an end, is it?
No, it was temporarily, and then obviously she finds out that the complaint's not being
Mm.
pursued, which I don't know where Priya's logic was in not telling her, but well, I do understand the logic, but she was obviously going to find out. In fact, she made it so that she found out,
Yeah, she made
not
it worse.
deliberately, but
Yeah.
by trying to get it, telling Amy, and then Amy eventually tells
Fair play
Avani. But
to
they all
Amy,
still
I
made up,
thought.
though. Yeah, I
Fair
did.
play to Amy.
Yeah,
I was like, that's the right thing to do at that moment, and you're sticking up for
it
your
was.
mate rather than
Mhm.
being scared of this woman that apparently all of Avani's mates think is fit.
Oh yeah, apparently the lads love Priya, don't I think when
Which,
she first came in, they gave Nugget a bit of that kind of banter about her,
mm,
though, if I remember. Yeah.
well, she is. Let's be real here.
Funny
She
though,
is.
it's
She is.
funny.
She is
It's
fit.
well, we say it's funny, but then where this storyline's headed with these
Well,
lads.
let's talk about this.
Mm,
Park of Arnie for a second and move
mm.
on to Joel. Now, regular listeners of this podcast will know is that I have been pushing for this sort of story for quite a long time now. In fact, to the point where I might even take credit for it finally appearing in the show.
You basically wrote it, let's be
Basically
honest.
wrote this story. Um, because I've been wanting the show to discuss incel culture because I think it's a vitally important thing for the soaps to discuss. Because it's a huge topic that is slowly but surely taking over the world, and it's a terrifying prospect. And I think we might be finally going there with Joel and Tommy,
Hmm.
because few of them are together. Avani's like having a few mates around or something, and Joel and Tommy are sort of. They start talking about the fact that Tommy's not got any experience with women,
Yeah,
and
they try to
then
play spin the bottle, don't they? And then they go,
yeah, and
"Oh, well,
Tommy's
Tommy's
all
never kissed anybody," and he gets a
yeah,
bit irate that they're all
yeah,
taking the
gets a bit
mick out of him, doesn't
embarrassed,
he? Yeah.
yeah, and they then Tommy and Joel then separately go into the kitchen, and Joel starts showing Tommy something on his phone. Now we assume
Hmm.
that this is porn, right?
Yeah. Well, it is. Yeah.
Well, it is. Well, we don't know. We don't know it was porn. We
Yeah.
don't know
But
it
it
was
is.
porn.
Yeah.
Tommy said, "I ain't watching that." Could have been anything. Could have been Corrie. I'm not watching that. You sod off.
True.
Could have been
But he
Corrie,
won't.
but it wasn't. Well, now this is the thing. I'm telling you now, right? Despite the fact that it's kind of clear what they were going for with this
Yeah.
scene, you will struggle to find, I would argue, that many lads whose first exposure to sex isn't porn, all right, or some sort of pornography in
Do you
some
know,
way.
there's some mad statistic that I think like 50% of like 11-year-olds have already seen it.
Probably.
There's
I wouldn't be
something mad like
surprised.
that these
Yeah, yeah,
days,
yeah.
honestly. Yeah.
Well, when I was at school, it was all about magazines and stuff. Like one of the lads would bring in a magazine or something, and that would get shared around the
Yeah.
classroom. Oh yeah, yeah. It wasn't me, by the way. It wasn't me. I would never have anything like that.
You had your
Um,
naked man calendar at home, didn't you, Rob?
yeah, I had my EastEnders calendar on the wall. And EastEnders men of the 90s. But so, I mean, I think the point here is about what sort of pornography he might have been watching, about what sort of, in terms of,
The
yes, there's an,
unrealistic expectations of it.
yeah, of
That's what it
course.
is, isn't
But it
it?
depends. I think there's a viewpoint that says all porn is derogatory to women, and it's something like what, even gay
Mm.
porn. But it's like, a lot of, it's not all like that. But then also you can get porn that is very derogatory to women, and
Yeah.
you gotta kind of wonder, given where this storyline seems to be suggesting it might be the direction it might be going in, what kind of porn was it that Joel was making him watch?
Oh, what do you think? There's like violent or something?
It's
Or
possible. It's possible. Or
I,
something that would
yeah,
suggest that the woman is being derogatorized in some way, if that's a word. This is
yeah.
now
I know what you
derogatorized.
mean.
You know what I
Well, I
mean?
think this is the argument, isn't it? Like you say, it's going to be most young, like a lot of young boys' first
Mm,
experience with it, and then
yeah.
that sets their expectation of what it should be, including
Yeah.
Joel, because he's saying it, isn't he?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I know
I
he's
mean,
encouraging it and showing it everyone, but he clearly thinks that that's what it's like as well.
yeah. I mean, this is the thing. On its own, I don't think, as an isolated incident, Joel showing Tommy that isn't necessarily a sign that there's anything darker or more sinister going on.
No, no.
But then you sort of take into account what else has been going on. Joel basically was quite a sinister little shit this week, wasn't he? In terms
Hmm.
of like, you're watching him and thinking, "There's something odd about you, kid."
Is a wrong un,
He's
Rob?
a wrong un.
Would you say he's a wrong
Yes,
un?
I would say
Yeah,
he's a
yeah.
wrong un. Yes, he's a sinister little shit. Because there is also later on in the week conversations that he says about Avani, saying that she's well up for it and all that kind of thing. I mean, I feel like he's just parroting stuff that he might have seen
Well,
in some of the films that he's been watching, right?
it's they are round at Barney's, aren't they? Because Barney and
Yeah,
Avani are having a little catch up, and then Avani
Barney.
invites.
I'm so
I
sorry for
know,
Barney. It's
I
so,
know.
yeah. If anything,
So
that
then,
makes me think Joel's wrong because he's upsetting Barney. That's enough for
well,
me.
I mean, if only Avani had truly seen how that played out, she would have totally
Mm,
seen that Barney had a back, but because she didn't witness the entire situation.
yeah.
So Barney and Avani have their moment. Tommy and Joel turn up and they all start going, oh, lads, 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 let's have a little party kind of thing. And
Yeah.
then Barney catches Tommy and Joel watching
Yeah, Tommy's now
porn.
become a porn addict, by the way, in the space
Yeah,
of a couple of days.
watching it together wherever they can.
Wherever they
Anyway,
can, that's weird in itself,
I
surely,
think
right?
so. I agree.
I would say.
Uh, and obviously Barney looks at it and is outraged, which I thought was
Horrified.
so
It's
sweet.
so
But then
adorable.
again,
Barney's
it
never
makes you
seen a
wonder
porn film
what
in
it
his
was.
life.
But what was it like
Yeah,
you say?
this is
Was
yeah.
it a bit more extreme
Yeah,
than your
I
average?
think
I don't know. I'm not an expert in any of this,
yeah, I mean the thing is,
I'm
obviously there
gathering,
was
but
no audio that we could hear because
no.
obviously you can't even suggest the audio of porn at 7:30 at BBC One. That's not a thing that
Yeah,
you
yeah,
can
because there
do.
are
I
kids
get
watching
that.
as well, to be fair.
Exactly, I
So
get that. But it's my thinking is that it's quite derogatory pornography that he
mm,
might be sort of pushing onto
yeah,
Tommy at this point, which is obviously a very unhealthy way to look at sex and to look at women and to look
yeah,
at men's role in women's lives. And
yeah.
that can kind of be where this starts to snowball from here.
Yes, it's scary, isn't it? And then, so you've got Barney, who is the sweetest. He would be so good for Avani.
It would
And
be.
like Amy said this week,
It's
we've
Stacey
seen
and
all this
Bradley
play
Mark
out. You're
Two. I'm telling
blatantly
you.
going to get, it's blatantly going to end in that. But I just don't shouldn't go on this awful journey that she's clearly going to
I
go on
know, and
first
I hope
before
Barney
her and
doesn't
Barney
fall off
get
the Vic
together.
roof either. By the way, but carry
Oh God.
on. No, none
Well,
of
you
that,
never
please.
know.
None of that,
Mm.
thank you.
So I wish, like I say, I just wish that Avani had witnessed it all because if she'd have seen it, she'd have seen how much Barney had her back. But instead, she's got this fake impression of Joel,
He's
who
fit in her
then,
eyes, and it's as simple as that, I think, isn't it? It's kind of like
yeah,
that
and he's
that t
cool, isn't he?
yeah, yeah, and he's got curtains, you
Yeah,
know,
well,
and
clearly
he paid
there's
for her
90s
drugs,
curtains.
and he paid for her drugs as well.
Yeah, Barney wouldn't do that, would he? But
Barney would
like,
not
no,
do
Avani, that's
that.
not a good idea.
Barney would not do that, and then would give her a lecture on the dangers of marijuana. That's what Barney would
Exactly.
do.
Yeah.
Um, of which, of course, there are many, many, many. Um, and so, like, they have this little scuffle, and Avani is like, right, okay, we're leaving here, and Barney's left heartbroken. I want to reach for the telly and hug the poor boy. It's so
I
sad.
know.
They get rid of Tommy, which I kind of think Tommy was quite annoyed about as well. He's like, thanks,
He was
loser.
no, look, I know I thought that, but he was just like,
Yeah,
yeah, whatever, drop me off home. He
yeah,
wouldn't
see
have
you
said.
later. That's
Yeah.
all right. I've got porn to watch. It's fine.
Yeah, oh yeah, I'll finish
Couldn't
watching
wait
that
to
at
get
home,
home. Could
yeah.
not wait to get home. And then Joel and Avani are sort of walking home through the square together. Avani's got the flat to herself because Ravi and Nugget are both out. And Joel basically says, "So you slept with anyone? Up for doing that, are we?" And they kind of go into the flat. Now, are we supposed to believe that they've slept together now?
Well, maybe we're going to see afterwards that they have. I don't
Mm,
know. It's implying that that's what the intention is, but whether that is what actually happens, it's whether we're going to see that they didn't or not. I'm not
mm.
sure. I mean, it was strange, wasn't it? How he asked. So he's watching all this porn, and we're getting an impression that we're going down an incel kind of storyline, and then he
Yeah,
asks for consent to kiss her.
this is the thing. At the same time, you know, as the impression that we get from somebody who'd be into all that sort of thing
Mm,
would be him saying to Avani, you know, this is your role, this is what you should be doing
mm.
now, or something like that. Whereas on the other side of it, he was sort of implying that you know, no pressure. I'm not going to put
It's
you
all.
under any of this peer pressure. And was it was a bit of a strange amalgamation of stuff.
It
So
were manipulation, though. I
of
thought it
course
was
it was,
deliberate, and he
yeah,
just delivered. He
yeah, yeah,
knew
yeah,
exactly what to say, didn't he? And then,
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
he even what did he say? Said something like,
Something about
"Oh, I
group.
need like Varney needs somebody who gets her," or Varney said
Yeah,
that like,
yeah,
"I need
yeah.
somebody who
Avani said
gets
that.
me." And he
Yeah,
tried
yeah,
to
yeah.
say what he thought Varney meant by that.
Mm.
Man, I hope they've not, but I've got a feeling that
I
they
think they
may have.
probably most definitely have. I
And has he
think it's
filmed it? Do you? I'm wondering if he's going to film it or something, and then it's going to
oh,
go around.
and
Is what
then
I was
well,
wondering, so
first
that he can
customer will
show
be Tommy.
Tommy.
Yeah, first
Well,
customer will
yeah,
be Tommy. Yeah. So is this the start of a story that I've wanted for so long in EastEnders? I'm very excited if it is.
it looks like it.
I kind of feel like there can't be anything else now, surely. And this is very much the beginning of it. He's a
Yeah.
terrible influence on Tommy. There's no two ways about that. Tommy had a good couple of weeks where we were kind of feeling a little bit more sympathetic towards Tommy,
Talking
and
to
now
AI Matt,
that's I
he
know.
didn't need any of this, did
I
he?
know. It's weird though, isn't it? That we kind of wondered, we kind of theorized, oh, is this incel stuff when he was talking to AI? And it's sort of
Yeah.
like in a roundabout way, we have kind of landed there. And you could sort of see very easily how someone like Tommy could be influenced into this kind of thinking, couldn't you?
Oh
Because
yeah,
if
definitely.
you look at, I think it's going to be interesting to sort of have a look at his relationship with Kat and what Joel would make of Kat, and
Oh
sort of,
yeah, interesting. Very good
yeah,
point. Mm-hmm.
I think
Yeah.
we might,
And what
yeah,
they might
it's.
refer to her as and
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah.
And now they were, like you say, towards Avani's mum as well, say like we're innocent, like kind of,
Yeah.
some talk that you might expect from teenage boy. Oh, your
Yeah.
mum's
Your
well
mum's fit.
fit. But
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
that's going to grow. Maybe they're going to get in beef with Nugget, who's going to defend Priya's
I
honor. There
would
could be
hope
quite a
she.
lot happen from this.
There's a lot of different directions they could take this in, but
Mm,
on at the core of it, it's going to be this ridiculously important story that the soap should be shouting from the rooftops
hmm.
because this is such a huge issue that's taking over the world right now. It's a terrifying issue that's taking over the world, and it's about time the soap started taking notice of that and telling this story. And it looks like EastEnders is finally doing it, and that is fantastic. So. It's going to be a rough watch if this it could be
Yeah.
a very scary storyline in many ways, but good. It needs
I
to be
mean,
uncomfortable. It needs to be confronting. It needs to do what it needs to do.
do you think he's going to like, what do you think his intention is with Avani though? Or do you think he's gonna like sleep with her this once, gain her trust, and then maybe he'll record her secretly? Or is he
Maybe
gonna
I
sleep with her and then ghost her and then try and get with Amy or something? And
Yeah, I mean we've seen him sort of like talk to a few girls because he was thinking of
yeah.
he flirted with Amy again this week, didn't he? So it's clear
Yeah,
that
but she were having absolutely none of it. So I
no,
think you're
yeah,
like,
no
nope, you're
interest
not, you're a
whatsoever.
no-go then, so I'll
Yeah.
stick with Avani.
Yeah.
Mm.
So it's going to be interesting to sort of see his and Tommy's relationship develop from here. It also kind of makes you wonder what exactly has gone on in Australia that means that they can't go back.
Yeah, of course.
My
Yeah.
thinking now is that something horrible has happened to a girl in Australia as courtesy of Joel.
Mm.
Maybe legal fees have been involved because the police got involved, and now they've got the family of that girl saying, "You set foot back in this country again, and we're going to kill you
Okay.
all," or something like that. Which is why Ross is sort of saying, "No, I can't. We can't go back to Australia yet." Is it maybe something like that?
Yeah, very easily could be something like that. I agree.
Either
I
that
was
or
wondering.
Joel is the Andrew Tate of Australia. I don't know.
Well, or I was wondering, obviously, I theorized a while ago, could it be something to do with like pictures that were leaked online or something like
Yeah,
along those lines? Has he got a girl pregnant there? Is it money for like childcare or something,
who knows?
potentially? But they don't want him anywhere near, I don't know. It's obviously along these lines.
Yeah.
Might explain why Vicky doesn't know as well, so it must be something quite bad.
Honestly, it's so typical of Michelle Fowler's offspring to get herself involved into something like this, accident without even realizing it. It really
Mm.
is. She's her mother's daughter.
Oh, and she's like, oh, well, he's doing really well locked in his room, doing all
Yeah.
that work, doing all that.
Well, this is the interest. I like the way that they've sort of peppered this stuff with the fact that all the kids are studying for their GCSEs at around
Yeah,
this time as well. Because actually, one of the big things about this sort of culture with the kids is that you always worry about your kids when they go out, but actually now it's getting to a stage where you should be worrying about your kid when they're just upstairs in their room when you think that they're safe, and that's that
yeah,
kind of suggestion as well. So. But it's just all. I'm very, very excited. All the signs are pointing to this being a very, very well done story. So
yeah.
bring it on. It's going to be rough, but I can't wait to watch it. So on to Felix and Johnny now, and it really is tale as old as time, isn't it? You wait for a character to have some form of character development, and the only time that they ever do is when they're about to leave and they've been
Yeah.
axed and they're going out the back door. This is so annoying. This is the most fat character development we have seen with Felix pretty much since he arrived.
Is there some crossover of like Chris Crenshaw and Wadey here? Because it's
I think
like
there might be,
Crenshaw's
yeah.
still, but he's still here
He's
with
still on
us,
the
right?
screen.
So
I
he's
mean, this,
obviously giving
yeah.
him this storyline, and then Wadey's come in and axed him.
Yeah, I
But
mean, thinking
why?
about where we are now in terms of when the filming date started, I'm pretty sure that Chris Clanshaw left the show
Yeah, he's already
after.
gone.
Yeah, but he left after the 40th anniversary stuff. And in terms of when this would have been filmed, because Lacey Turner's come back, we know that this was after she came back from maternity leave
Yeah.
and she was back for the anniversary special.
Mm.
So Ben Whitey will have started around now. So
Right,
whilst Chris
okay. So
Clenshaw's
there
name
is
is
the
still on
crossover
there's a
kind of.
crossover, yeah. And it also, I think, people always whinge about the fact that some characters don't get axed and some characters do, completely disregarding the fact that some characters will have different contracts to other characters. So if you still going to axe a character, they've still got to wait until the end of their contract before they
Yeah.
can leave. So
Hmm.
that might be what's happening here, or something along those lines. But either way, it's
Or it's a build up
irritating.
for his exit.
Yeah, we
In
don't know
which
when.
case, you didn't need it. We could have just seen him leave. You didn't need to give him
You
a
know,
big storyline to
well, I
exit.
mean, big is it even a big storyline? Really? I mean, it was the C storyline of the week, and
Lines, then give him
let's give him
lines.
lines. I mean, to be honest with you, I don't even know how big a thing Felix's exit is going to be in context of the
Yeah,
rest of
true.
what's going on. It's just
Mm,
annoying because we have been saying for so long, we're going to give Felix something to do anytime soon,
yeah.
please. And this is the most screen time he's had in ages, and now
And do you know what? I'm here
and
for it. I've
it's
really enjoyed
yeah,
it.
it's
It's
really
really
working.
good.
G-Lix is a
Yeah.
lovely little pairing. I'm really
Yeah. Oh,
enjoying them.
G-Lix. You G-Lix, not
G-Lix,
funny.
Fonny or G-Lix. I mean, let's be honest.
Jolix.
Who cares? It doesn't
G-Lix.
it doesn't
Yeah,
matter,
true.
does
It's not
it?
going to last long.
It's
Don't
not
worry
going to
about it. They
last.
don't even need a shipping name.
You can call him Snoopy for all
Mm,
it matters. It really doesn't
yeah,
matter. Oh, it's just frustrating. It really, really
it
is.
is.
But hey, it is what it is.
Anyway, let's
Um,
talk about Felix.
yeah, let's talk about Felix because actually, what was happening here was Johnny realizing these two have been hooking up basically for a few weeks
Yeah.
because you know that's what gays do, and I wish. And they Johnny has basically developed feelings and
Yeah.
wants to kind of take their relationship to the next level, and Felix is very much sort of like enjoying his youth, essentially, isn't it?
Buffet, as
Buffet, as we
Elaine
just talk
puts
about
it.
Elaine's emotional involvement in her grandson's sex life. I
Yeah.
mean, I
It,
quite enjoyed it, I have to
it
say.
kind of fits though.
It
It's
kind of
yeah,
fits.
yeah, it works to be fair.
Grandmother slash
I
grandmother
love how she
slash
like, oh, you're not a free spirit like me, are you? You know, you're an hopeless
no.
romantic like your
No,
mum.
you're clearly not that boring, Johnny. Which I
Yeah.
very subtly well done, very well done, Elaine. And it was just nice. You know, this is the thing. It's just nice. I'm enjoying this. So it's just a shame that it's going to
Mm.
come to an end soon. Now, Felix has said, "Yeah, we'll go on a proper date. That sounds exciting," but we know that it's clearly not going to work out. So
This is it because otherwise we might be invested in this new relationship that's on the horizon, but we know it's not going to work out. So
yeah,
it's I don't know, but it is a massive shame because even Felix being in the like Carter Knight dynamic works.
mm,
He's already friends with
yeah,
Gina and Anna. They
that
could have
worked
had a
really
nice
nicely.
young group all
Yeah,
kind of hanging
yeah,
out and
I
stuff.
know. It was working really nicely. And
Mm.
actually, I can see Elaine and Felix have been quite a fun pairing at some point in the future as
Yeah,
well. You
yeah. Her
know, it would have,
grandson-in-law. That would have been
yeah, would have
lovely.
been
Yeah, I
lovely.
know.
And they
He
should have
could have
got,
done a
and
makeup for her and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah, dragged Elaine up. It would have been marvelous. But no, that none of that's going to happen, unfortunately. It's just annoying. Um,
What's Felix's drag name again?
Tara,
Tiramisu.
yeah, that was it. Tara
Is it
Masu, yeah.
tiramisu?
We haven't seen Tara in
That's what I'm
ages.
thinking.
Maybe
Where
we
is
might
tiramisu?
get one last view with Tara before they go. Might be
Reckon
nice.
they'll exit as Tara, perhaps.
Well, they arrived as Tara,
Be fitting. Well,
strutted onto
it would
the
be fitting, but we've
down the
barely
hospital
seen
corridor.
Tara. Well, we've barely
Mm,
seen Felix, have we? So why
yeah,
would we see Tara, to be fair?
it's true. It's frustrating. It really,
Mm,
really is because actually I am really enjoying it. And actually, what it's been is actually quite a nice sort of way of watching two gay characters get together. Because to be honest with
yeah.
you, quite often we're used to these gay pairings being full of angst and
Not that you're
full of like
mentioning any gay pairings
no,
in
but
particular.
I mean, let's be honest with you. The past two big gay relationships in the show's history normally involve one of them being really sort of conflicted about their
Yeah.
sexuality and
Yeah.
them having to go through months of torment to try and get to
Mm,
where they are. Whereas actually, these two, perfectly happy with who they are, have actually just landed into this pairing together
mhm.
as, guess what? How most couples get together, really.
Yeah. 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 Exactly.
But
Very
hey,
frustrating.
what can you do? What can you say? So. I'll enjoy it while it's happening, but at the same
Yeah.
time, there's no point in putting a huge amount of emotional investment into it because we know that Felix is
There's
soon to be
not.
gone. So
And poor Johnny, because
I
he's going to get his
know,
heart broken because he's
I
getting
know
quite attached into bless
he
him.
is, he is. I
He's not
don't.
leaving, is he?
No, I don't think so. But it's no, he's not. But it's. I'm wondering where Johnny goes from here in terms of So he's obviously going to get his heart broken over
Like, why
Felix.
bother?
So
Yeah, why?
him and Callum, that kind of was briefly suggested as a thing at one point, wasn't it?
It was. I still don't agree with that, though, if I'm honest with you. Just because of,
The
like,
fact.
they're pretty much the kind of family, aren't they? Like,
Mm,
Callum were best
well.
mates with Lee, his brother.
Yeah,
I know,
which
but do you know what I mean? It's like, why would it happen now? But you know what? Stranger things have happened. Let's be
strange. This
real.
is Walford we're talking about here. If
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
anything,
So,
that's the most innocent thing that will have happened in Walford for
I
many a
mean,
year.
blood relatives I've
Yeah,
procreated. So,
there you
they're
go.
not blood.
Exactly.
There we
They're not.
go.
No, last thing they are. So there we are then. Right, ladies and gents, let's talk about the big storyline of the week, and this was the revelations that Shireen is actually dead. So Shireen's dead.
Is she?
Well, I mean,
Is she?
we haven't seen a body, but the police have. The police have seen a body, so I think that
A
kind of
body.
confirms it.
Has it been identified? Are we to
Well,
assume they've identified it? It is Shireen.
I think so. And to be fair, this the idea that the police might not have formally identified this body is not the logic problem that I had with this story.
Oh, okay. Well, to be fair though, I am also thinking that why would Benji not say it wasn't Shireen or something like? Wouldn't he just mind you know? Because he's got to act like he don't know, I guess. But
Oh
yeah,
wow.
go on. What's your
Okay,
flaw?
right. Okay. So the biggest problem, there's a few little like the shape of this story is confusing me a little bit, to be honest with you, because
Okay.
right, first off the bat, we are. I think I got confused throughout the week what was true and what wasn't. Like confused between the lies that Nicola was telling, what
Yeah.
ended up being the truth, and when she actually started telling the truth. And even by the end of the week, she's not really telling the truth because it's so we just kind of all a bit confusing.
I know
And
what you mean on that bit. Yeah.
what we're also being now led to believe is that Nicola killed this teenage girl because she knew a secret about her and had her buried. In which case, Nicola really, really is quite a villain, in all honesty, isn't she?
I know what you're saying. It's because like she started the week trying to dig Shireen up herself and had this whole monologue about I had to do it. You knew
That
my
is
secret,
that
all that
monologue.
jazz.
That monologue, I've got to be honest, is like at the very realms of exposition that I struggled with because that was purely for us and for nobody else
Yeah.
whatsoever, wasn't it? And that's when we
So,
discover that Shireen
mhm,
apparently knew about Barney not being
yeah.
Teddy's.
How? No
How is
idea,
my
but
question?
okay.
Yeah, how? And
I
that's why she
mean,
was
I think,
killed.
and then later in the week, Nicola confesses to Teddy, oh, but she fell. It didn't. We were having an argument and she
Is that what
fell,
happened
and
though?
and she. So what we need with Nicola, which we don't have, is she needs a confidant on the square where we know anything she tells that confidant is
Yeah,
true, but
it's
she's not got
absolutely
one.
the truth. Yeah,
So we're
because
left confused because
that's
you can tell
very
the audience and say
yeah,
stuff out loud,
yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
even we don't really know because,
No,
yeah,
and you're absolutely right because anything that she says to Teddy is always going to be guarded by the fact
yeah,
that the Barney secret is in the way of us getting to the actual truth of what
yes.
happened.
Hmm.
So we really don't kind of know the full story at this point, despite the fact that a lot of revelations about this storyline and a lot of people who needed to know stuff found out stuff this week, but we still don't know the full picture.
I guess what she should have done then when she was doing a monologue was like, said something like, "Oh, I didn't mean to push you down the stairs, but while you were down there, I might as well boot you in head." Should have said something
I
like
mean,
that.
when she's had conversation with Benji, who appears to be the one, I mean, but we don't know if Benji knows the reason why Shireen was killed, do we? We know that she
No,
know.
we're not sure. He kept implying it, but was he just
Mm,
implying that he knows that Nicola killed her? He doesn't know the
yeah,
reason why. Because
yeah,
surely Nicola wouldn't tell Benji why, right? Why would she let
exactly.
more people in on the secret?
And the other problem I've got with it is the fact that if it's now the fact that Nicola killed Shireen cold-bloodedly because she knew about the secret with Teddy and Barney,
Hmm.
that gives Nicola a shelf life now, surely, doesn't it?
Also,
And I
isn't she going to go and kill Zach then? Why won't she pay someone to kill Zach, I
Well,
guess?
you know, and but then what I mean is that the lie that she told Teddy about the fact that Benji was supposed to get rid of her but went too far. I've got to be honest, I think I would have been more satisfied if that had been what had actually happened, because that
Yeah.
means that Nicola wasn't a cold-blooded killer
Hmm.
and the situation just kind of went a bit crazy out of her hands, but she still got the guilt of that. That I feel like would have been enough, rather
Yeah,
than
because she doesn't feel guilt about Shireen being dead. She's now
no.
just feeling guilt about being caught,
Yeah,
isn't she?
exactly,
Which is
exactly.
again like what gives her the shelf life is
Yeah.
essentially what you're saying.
Now, you could look at someone like Janine, for example,
Hmm.
who doesn't really have a shelf life in that sense. She's kind of gotten over that. Now, does Nicola fall into the same category of the fact that we enjoy her so much as a character, and we do enjoy Nicola as a character? I think she's
Mm.
fantastic, but has she reached that level of forgiveness from the audience that means that we kind of wanted to get away with this? I don't think she has she?
Mate, is it because we know? I don't know though. We don't really know any of them that well. I'm going to say, is it because we know Harry
She's
more and we
too,
can
yeah,
see the
she's too,
impact, or is she, or are we going to get her genuinely feeling guilty about what she's done, even if it's just because she feels so badly for Harry? Because right now we're kind of seeing it like I'd do it all again to protect my
yeah,
family.
yeah,
And actually, in Nicola's warped mind, she's protecting Harry. She's
yeah.
trying to justify it that she was protecting Harry from her, when really that may have been an element, but we're getting the impression that actually it's because Shireen knew her secret. That's the
Yeah.
real
Yeah.
reason.
So she wasn't protecting her family whatsoever. She was just protecting her own self-preservation,
Well,
really,
she was
wasn't she?
protecting her family in the sense of them remaining a
The
family because
picture
once
of
the
the family that
secret's
she's got
out,
in, yeah,
yeah,
the picture of the family that
yeah,
she's got in her head is what she was protecting, rather
yeah,
than she was protecting individual members of her
yeah,
family.
yeah.
The other side of this that made no sense to me whatsoever was what was Teddy's involvement. I didn't understand what the hell he was doing bringing the police on Benji because there was no way
Yeah.
that that was not going to make things 10 times worse, whichever way you looked at it. Because he knew that the bracelet was buried with the body. So why the hell would ringing the police on Benji have made anything better?
And for himself, because like they were already, wrapped up in all of this with it being Harry's ex-partner, and then
Yeah,
you just happen, coincidentally, you've got this land where her body's buried.
yeah.
Would he have not thought that's going to rouse suspicion on myself? So
There
maybe
was
I'm not
no
going to call the
logic. There was
police.
zero. Like,
No, I agree with that. Yeah.
despite the fact that he tried to sort of explain it away, it was sort of like, no, that doesn't make any sense at all. Like saying
The
that he wanted to kind of
mm,
remove Nicola's involvement from it, but it doesn't remove Nicola's involvement on it because what you're
no.
actually doing is putting a spotlight on the bracelet that was buried with the body. So it
Even
doesn't
if you've
help.
rehearsed, why that bracelet was supposedly there.
Now, his idea was presumably to get rid of Benji, who was clearly the one that knew stuff and was
Yeah.
kind of liable to grass everybody up at some point. But even doing that, getting the police there when the body's just about to be unearthed, is the most stupid idea that anybody's ever had.
And then he endangered the rest of the family because Benji had already said, I've told people where I am. All Benji now needs to do is call people and go, they snitched on me, go and get them.
Yeah,
So he's endangered the family as well by doing it.
yeah.
I agree. The only thing that he's saved is the 100k that he were going to borrow from Phil. I love that Phil's got
Oh, of
100k
course he
lying
has.
around to just
Phil's
lend
always
out.
done this, hasn't he? He's got
100k
millions.
cash. Yeah, all
Yeah, he's
right.
got millions. The only way this would have made sense is if Teddy had gone and got the bracelet and then rang the police on Benji. That would have been the sensible thing
Yeah,
to do because then there
maybe,
would have been
yeah.
nothing connecting Nicola to the body. But
Mm.
as it was, all he did was ring the police whilst this body is being unearthed by Benji, who obviously the first thing he said was, "It was Nicola Mitchell. That's the one you want."
Why did
It
they
made no
even get
sense.
Benji to uncover the body when they could have just done it themselves for like not 100k? Like, do they not
Yeah,
know how to get rid of bodies? Is that what it is? Like, why couldn't they just do it themselves?
I don't know. There was points with this where I was sort of like, I don't understand. What I there's
Ravi knows as well. Will Ravi
Yeah, yeah.
say anything to Harry at some point potentially?
Possibly. I mean, so that was kind of the confusion of it. But
Yeah, no, there was a lot. I agree.
what I did enjoy was the fact that, I mean, the thing is, I enjoy Nicola. I think she's a great character, and the thing about her is that she's one of these characters that will do anything, and she's
Yes.
got which gives her that level of unpredictability, which is
Mm.
exciting to watch as a viewer. Harry, I think, has now also got that. Because you kind of don't know, you get the impression that when Harry's pushed into a corner, he's going to come out all guns blazing, as he was this week.
Don't you think he's got like the impulsivity of his mum, but
Yeah,
his dad's been trying
yeah,
to turn it down when they've
yeah.
been bringing him up? Yeah.
Yeah. I really do. And obviously, this whole thing with Shireen, obviously, this has really affected him. And obviously, the implication that Nicola and Teddy were in any way involved means that that he's gonna that's never gonna leave his head now. So, and we
Mm.
get the impression he was going to petrol bomb the bar at one point this week. So you kind of think
Sorry, I'm laughing really.
I mean, yeah, that means he's capable of anything, right? So he's got
Yeah,
that,
with
like
his
you
mum
say,
inside.
yeah, why not? Yeah. So
Well, this is it as well. Like you
what
say
a
with
messy
Teddy, like ringing
family.
the
They're
police.
insane.
What did Teddy think that Harry wouldn't suspect his mum like? Are they just not giving Harry enough credit for knowing?
Possibly, yeah.
He knows how the like
Yeah.
darker side of the bit, let's say the darker
Yeah.
side of the family business
Yeah.
works. Did they genuinely underestimate that he wouldn't suss out that they did have something to do with it?
Possibly.
And
Possibly,
just
yeah.
thought, oh no, Harry will believe it were all Benji.
Yeah.
Why would he think that Benji would do it anyway unless someone's put him up to it?
Yeah.
Like Harry knew as soon as his mum started talking, he was like, well, she's full of shit. It's
Yeah.
clearly no.
Yeah.
Since when did you give her a bracelet?
Yeah. Exactly. It made like they did. Yeah, I agree. They
Just
completely and
because they
utterly.
were going to say in their heads they were going to have that conversation with the police while Harry wasn't in the room. Well, what would you have told Harry anyway?
Yeah. Because even the fact that the police have turned up and have now averted their attention onto you, who I
Yeah,
know you didn't like her that much, and I know what you're like as a person. So clearly they've got a reason to be turning the spotlight onto you. So
and I know what you like.
and I know what you like. So it kind of makes sense, doesn't it, really, that
Mm.
Harry would explode the way he has. I will say, for a start, great week for Elijah Holloway, who plays Harry. Really, really good. That was
Yeah,
his, I think his first big week on the show. I think he knocked it out of the park this week. Really, really good. His scenes
I
with
agree.
Nicola, Laura Dobinson, and
Mm.
him together, great stuff. Like that.
And we also had him with before all of this happened. He was starting to get with Gina. Do you think that's still going to be a thing?
Yeah, and do you know what? I think the pair of them are actually quite well matched.
We said this before, and then it turned out he'd been blackmailing her, and we were like, why have
Mm.
they done that when they could be a couple?
I think it's interesting that they both have got this side of them that when the going gets tough, they'll turn to drugs and drink and
Yes.
sort of lash
Hmm.
out at things. So to have a couple that both do that is potentially quite interesting storyline wise.
Yes, I agree. I think they're a very good pairing.
Mm.
But whether they're going to continue going down that route after this week, I think once Gina finds out the reason that Harry blanked her was because he'd just found out his ex-girlfriend's body
Yeah,
had been found, she might
I think
forgive
she'll
him.
be all right with that. You think she'll be
Yeah.
fine with that. And obviously Harry and Kojo are adorable. I love them both together. That's great.
Yeah.
Love
Yeah.
that. That's
Yeah. Let that
working
continue.
beautifully, really, really nicely. So this all sort of exploded this week for Harry and Nicola, and a lot of stuff was said. I mean, he looked like he was going to rip Nicola apart with his bare hands at
He
points during
looked
the
like he were going to
confrontation.
kill her with that
He really
crowbar,
did.
didn't
Yeah,
he?
he really did. And I think at one point he probably would have gone for her. So I mean, again, it's that sort of male Mitchell darkness that's always sort of there within the family. There's some dark thread that weaves its way through the Mitchell family tree, isn't there? And
Yeah.
this is sort of Harry's,
There's some
so
dark
yeah.
genes
Which is
in that,
why
yeah.
Barney is such a sweetheart because he hasn't got that male Mitchell thread in him, has he?
He has got his mother's side,
Yeah,
though,
but
to be
she's not a
fair.
Mitchell
But I know
by
what you
blood.
mean.
So
No, but that's what I'm
Barney's
saying.
free of it.
Like, she's obviously got some as well, so
Yeah.
combined, Harry
She's got
might
his
be a.
yeah, but he's got her brains. But the difference is Barney uses that power for good.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I can see that. Yeah,
He uses it to
yeah.
win chess, and
I'm
that's
not gonna
lovely.
lie, I don't see many as axe traits in Barney, I must admit.
Not
But there you
yet,
go. That's
no.
a whole nature v nurture argument. We could
Yes,
be here all day,
exactly,
couldn't we?
exactly. So where the hell does this go from here?
I mean, it's does Harry now believe what Nicola said? So what Nicola's left it with Harry is, yeah, I did hire Benji. It was just to scare her, and Benji took it too far. And Harry seemed to believe that, didn't he? That was like her
Kind of, I
get
think, but
out.
I feel
It was
like
Teddy that didn't believe her.
well, rightly. But I kind of think that Harry will sort of put a pin in what his suspicions are. I feel like it took them a little. I feel like he'll be like it took Nicola far too long to get to that excuse.
That's true.
So there's a reason. Otherwise, she would have just told me that straight away, wouldn't she? You know, while I was waving a crowbar around
No,
or setting
because
fire to things. You know, it's
you could argue that she didn't even want to admit to that though, and that she
true.
could be like, I felt so guilty, I didn't even want to tell you that it was me who hired him in the first place. So yeah, in a way it was me, Harry. It was my fault. You're totally right. She can play that kind of angle, can't she?
Yeah.
Mm.
So, I mean, we've also still obviously got the big explosion of the fact that the paternity of Barney is still yet to be revealed. That's going to rip this family. This family
Whether
are a
Benji does
mess.
know that then. I don't think
Yeah,
he does, because why wouldn't he
I don't
just
think he
throw that
does
into the
either.
mix while he's at it?
Yeah, I don't think he does. Although it wouldn't surprise me if he does,
Mm.
because surely your first question, if you're being, because he came into this Presumably the family knew him anyway, knew how dodgy he was, which is why Nicola rang him to get the body sorted. And presumably Benji's first question when he turns up at the house and sees Shireen dead on the floor is going to be like, why? What happened here then? Do you want to explain this? And would Nicola have been forced to tell him the truth then? Or would
No,
she
she
have
might
just
have
said
just
it was an accident? But no, but he knows that she
no.
murdered her. So it's sort
She
of
might
like
have she might have just said, "Oh, I did it for Harry. You should have heard what she was coming out with. She was going to ruin his life." She might have just took that angle.
might have done, but I don't think Benji would have believed that.
He might not have asked too many questions if she paid him enough, though.
There's stuff to be answered still, isn't there?
Hmm.
And by the end of the
Well, what if
week,
sorry, the other thing, what if
go
Shireen
on,
told a sad or something? Like what if
maybe
somebody else knows the secret?
somebody else
That's
knows.
yet to come
Yeah.
out.
Well,
Maybe
how
Shireen
does
did
it
tell
come out
somebody.
from here? Because if everybody that knows is dead or in prison, how does this come out?
Oh, it'll be Zach, won't it? Zach's gonna have to let it slip at some point down the line, surely.
You reckon?
Yeah. How else would it come out?
But then I
We've
wonder
already
if,
had the whole genetic thing when they were in hospital, so it's not going to come out that way.
yeah, but then my question is, why is the Barney stuff involved in this side of the story? And if it's not going to be relevant to the reveal in some way, you know what I mean?
Well, how did Shireen even find
Well,
out?
this is my big question. How did Shireen even discover
Did
this?
she just figure it out or something? Like, because
Like,
Nicola wouldn't just casually
wouldn't
talk
just
about
tell
it with
her.
anybody.
Wouldn't
As
just
far
tell
as we
her.
know, she's got no friends, so it's not like she could have overheard her talking to a friend or something,
Like,
right?
did Zach know Shireen?
No, because this Zach's only just found out brand new information to him about Nicola, weren't it?
Yeah.
So it's not
So,
like Zach could have. No.
yeah, so the big question is how the hell did Shireen find out about this?
Yeah.
And maybe
Yeah.
that's going to be the reveal somewhere along the
Maybe
way.
that'll be how it get linked. Yeah.
Yeah, because the thing is, Nicola is guarded from telling Teddy and thereby us the truth. You made such a great point earlier when you said that Nicola's got nobody to tell the truth to, so thereby
Yes.
we haven't got anyone for to hear the truth from.
Mm.
And that's kind of the point of what we don't quite know what went on
Yeah.
because Nicola's got no one to say it to. So this is
Hmm.
it's why it's still a bit confusing in my head. And I do think that it should have maybe been that she told Benji to sort her out and Benji
Yes.
just went too far and killed her and Nicola's left with that on her hands rather than the implication that Nicola just cold-bloodedly murdered her and buried this teenage girl.
Does it mean that she's got a shelf life though?
I would say it does. I don't
Why
want her
though?
to have a
Why?
shelf life because she cold-bloodedly murdered a teenage girl
So
and
have
buried
lots of
her.
people. I mean, Kathy
Everyone's
tried to
done that.
murder Cindy.
Try, yeah, but try to. And I will
So just
always
because she
argue attempted
didn't,
murder is more forgivable than actual murder in the world of soap.
for all we know, Nicola did only attempt to murder
And
her,
just
and
accidentally
actually
got it
Benji
right.
finished it, and Benji finished it. That
That
could
would
come out
save
yet.
it. That would save it, I would say.
Or it weren't
Yes.
Shireen anyway. We've not had her formally identified. The police have just said that they found Shireen's
A
body.
body
Does it mean it's
with the
actually
bracelet.
Shireen?
Yeah, you could have a point. You could. There could be
No,
more
I
twists and
think it
turns.
is,
There
but
could be more twists and turns to come with this. I agree, but at the minute, it just sort of seems
I
that
mean,
Nicola is
how
keeping a lot secret still.
okay, so you can't really formally identify after 4 years anyway,
Could
because
be
there
a bit
won't be.
messy.
It'd be like teeth or something, wouldn't it?
Yeah, something
Genetics that
like
you'd
that. Yeah, yeah,
use.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm. I don't know. The only other thing I'm wondering is like because Barney's not really part of all this. And he went, "Oh, she was a nice girl, but you wouldn't want that to happen." Is he gonna figure something out about
Maybe,
himself and his?
maybe, yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know.
Barney is brainy, so
Maybe he'll end up being Nicola's confidant. She'll think she can trust him, and then turns out he'll tell everyone. Who knows?
a lot more to come with this. I think big
Mm,
revelations this week that ultimately I'm sort of like there is logic problems with this story. I can't kind of look over that, but I am enjoying the story for what it is, but I just kind of think it's one of those stories that just don't pick at it too much and then sort of go along for the ride. Because if you pick at it, it kind of falls apart a little bit. But
yes. Maybe there are some bits that we've not found out yet either that
that
might make
might
more
make it
sense
make
down the
sense.
line.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
might kind of
Yeah.
explain stuff that we're confused about now. You could be right,
Yeah.
but at the minute,
Mm,
I mean, the main thing that doesn't make sense, and I don't think will ever make sense, is why
mm.
Teddy thought it was a great idea to ring the police on
No,
Benji.
I
That was
don't get
just
that.
idiocy. Makes no sense
Hmm.
whatsoever. But other than that,
Yeah. in his head, he thought he were protecting Nicola, but it still don't make sense. I
No,
agree.
he literally put Nicola in danger of being arrested for the
Mm,
murder of Shireen. There's no
yeah.
other way to look at that. It was just
Hmm.
idiocy. But there we go then. I'm going to give my gold star to Harry this week because I thought it was a great week for him. Fantastic week for Harry. Great, great stuff. You?
I'm going to give it to
Wee-hee.
Nicola.
How are you? The
Nicola, yeah,
teenage girl murderer. Are
Nicola.
you going to give it to Nicola? I mean,
Yeah,
yeah,
why
it was
not? I
some.
mean, not for that, but like, because I love the character of Nicola. I don't
She is
condone
great.
what she's done,
Good,
but I
good,
do like
good.
her character, so
She is
yeah.
great. She is great. And I'm looking forward to sort of seeing what the hell she's prepared to do to keep all of this secret because does somebody else die?
Potentially.
Is that a potential?
Hmm.
How far is Nicola prepared to go to stop her secrets coming out? Might well be that we're only at the very start of the reign of terror of Nicola Mitchell.
I think Zach might be in danger, if I'm honest with you.
We shall see. Right, ladies and gents, let's finish the podcast as usual with some comments from you.
So, a bit of news before we get to the comments.
Oh,
The
yes.
British Soap Awards shortlist are in. So, if you've not voted, get
Vote!
voting.
We march at dawn, EastEnders fans. Let's get these awards rolling in for EastEnders, all right? They deserve it.
So, we've still got Navin Chowdhury for Villain of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
Best Comedy is down to Patsy Palmer. I mean, come on, you know you're going to vote, don't you, for her?
Come on.
Best Leading Performer, we've got two entrants that have made the final.
Corrie
Soz.
has none, can I just say, in that category.
Yes, I noticed this. Ha,
Oops. But
sorry.
EastEnders have got two, so that might split the vote, though. So, Dane, so you need to decide.
That is true. That is true. So it's either Kelly Bright or Lacey Turner, which is hard, isn't it?
That's hard.
Because, yeah, they were the two I was struggling with
Yeah.
anyway, if I'm honest with you.
Yeah,
But I
it's
think,
hard.
did you vote Angela Winter?
Yeah, which did the world of good. But I feel like Lacey might edge it just
I did
because of
Lace.
the
I voted
yeah,
Lacey.
I voted
Mm.
Lacey for this, yeah, because I feel, I mean, obviously Kelly Bright is incredible and we love
Oh,
her and
yeah,
we
of course.
worship the ground that woman walks on, but the live performance I think needs to be recognised for Lacey.
And sometimes you have to think strategically so that we
Yeah,
know that it's EastEnders who are going to win.
yeah,
Bit like
and
when you're voting your elections, you know?
exactly, and I feel like Kelly is going to be the sort of actress who goes, a win's a win for EastEnders, right? And they know
Yeah,
she
bless
knows that
her.
the
And
audience loves
Lacey
her.
would as well, to be
Yeah,
fair. But
completely, completely.
Lacey Turner was incredible in that live
She was,
episode,
and
in
she deserves
fairness.
recognition for that.
Hmm.
Absolutely. So what's also exciting is that the panel categories have also been revealed, and everybody was kicking off saying, "Why the hell isn't Steve McFadden in any of the public votes?" He is in these. So the panel categories: best dramatic performance, Steve McFadden is up for that. Best newcomer, Laura Doddington as Nicola is up for that.
Come on.
Good chance, I would say. Best young performer, Sonny Kendall as Tommy.
Oh, okay, yeah. Good
See
choice
that?
there,
Yeah, good
actually. Yeah, good
choice.
choice.
Best on-screen partnership, Rudolph Walker and Angela Winter.
Oh, please,
I
they've
hope
got
so.
to.
I hope so. Their two-hander
Yeah,
was fantastic.
yeah.
And also best storyline is up. Best, which I think is Phil's storyline, which is also in best episode, which is Phil's flashback dealing with the mental health stuff. One of the
Hmm.
best episodes. Like that was phenomenal. So that's up for that. And then best family. I think the Slaters and the usual stuff with the family stuff. So
Yeah,
there's a
yeah.
lot of stuff that EastEnders could be raking it in for this year. And do you want to know something exciting, ladies and gentlemen? Something really, really exciting. We're going to the Soap Awards. Yes, we are. We will bring you everything that we can see at the Soap Awards.
Hot goss, hopefully.
Special episode, hot off the press when we go. We're gonna have to be careful though because we can't upload it on the day until after because the Soap Awards
Oh,
aren't
no,
live
no,
this
until it's
year
been
until it's been
aired.
broadcast.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So, but we will do a special episode whilst we're at the Soap Awards.
Oh, my
That's
tummy is
exciting.
flipping with excitement now
I
just as you're
know.
talking about it, Rob.
It's really
So,
exciting. We're
we
going to
are
be
so
going.
excited to
We are
go,
so
aren't we? We've
excited.
organised it all and
Yeah.
everything.
We've
We've
got
got
a
the
hotel.
hotel, we've got train tickets, we've
We're
got the
sorting our outfits
tickets.
out.
Yeah, we've just been discussing it actually. We
Mm.
think we know what we're wearing, don't we?
Yeah, I
But then
think
we're
we know
thinking
what
it's
we're
going to be
wearing.
hot. But then is there going to be aircon inside? Anyway, we're going to be looking
Antiperspirant.
fabulous. That's all you need to know.
Antiperspirant will be our friendry.
Yes, we
Okay.
think so.
Mm.
But we're here for it. We can't wait, can we? We're
Can't
very
wait. Very,
excited.
very excited to go to the actual Soap Awards. We might meet
Mm.
people. we might meet people.
Oh,
That's
stop.
exciting. I mean, I don't think we will, because I'm
We
sure
need to just
there'll
make
be,
sure not to have like, one drink too far so that we're not like, oh my God,
yeah,
it's
and like
Suki, hi.
and like try and snog Chris Clencher or something. That would be terrible if I did
No,
if I
I'm
did
sure
that.
we'll play it cool, Rob. We're quite good at playing it cool, right? Yeah,
You might be.
we can be like, oh hi, who are you? Oh yeah,
Yeah.
nice to meet you. I think I
Oh,
vaguely recognise you from
oh, you're
EastEnders. Yeah,
Jesse
yeah.
who? Jesse Wallace. Oh, yeah, I vaguely recognise who you
Yeah,
are. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
recognise the name, yeah.
Yeah, so very, very, very exciting. So glad to
Yes.
announce that we are going to the Soap Awards and we will bring you all the gossip that we can garner from that event with a special episode whilst we're there. Very exciting. Comments this week, Ray.
So we've got an email from Tommy Vine who says, hey, absolutely love the podcast. Can you speak about your thoughts on the new set expansion, the hospital, the barbers and the police station, etc.?
Yes, so this is we kind of maybe touched on this a few weeks back, but it turns
Very
out,
briefly.
very briefly, and we didn't really go into many details about it, but it turns out that there's been quite a large set extension done to the set, funnily enough, after the 40th anniversary. And this includes a hospital set, another police station, a new street with businesses on, and there is even talk of a sort of new square and a sort of extra square that's sort of an extension to these new streets and stuff, which kind of makes sense when you think about East End London. So there is potential for a load of new characters and a load of new storylines to come into this. There is a huge expansion, includes a parade of shops on Charles Street, which is named after King Charles, apparently, which kind of goes with that sort of royal theme that EastEnders does with some of these things.
Mhm.
Um, a box park style eating area, a gaming bar, and a rival garage for future storylines.
Okay.
So there is quite a lot kind of kicking off behind the scenes in terms of
What's the
set
box
extension and
style?
everything.
What? Sorry, say that bit again. The box
A box
style,
park style
box
eating
part.
area. If you ask me what that is, I do not know.
Is it referring to the place in Shoreditch? It's like a big, like,
No
I want
idea.
to say industrial type building, like
Maybe,
food hall. Is that what they're going
maybe,
for? Be quite
maybe.
interesting. It sounds like they're trying to add a bit more of a modern element then. If that
Yeah,
is what
yeah.
it is, I could be completely wrong. It rings a
I mean,
bell.
I'm kind of ambivalent as to where this is going to fit into the canon of the show. Is this going to be something that's
Mm,
always been there, or is this going to
yeah.
be a new area that's sort of been built within the show's sort of vision, and they're going to start saying things? Have you heard about this new extension that's down the street, or anything like that?
Interesting, because they could play it either way. They might
Mm,
just try and act like it's always been there. But if you remember, we had the whole "we want to knock the market down"
yeah,
thing. Maybe they're going to play it into, oh, well, instead of doing that, they decided to redevelop this area that's nearby or something.
yeah, yeah.
Because where the block of flats that Karen came from,
Mm.
the older couple, what were they called? I've forgotten their names.
Ted and Joyce.
Yeah, Ted and
Yeah, yeah,
Joyce. Weren't they like knocking their flats down or something? Are they going
something
to
like
act
that.
like it
Yeah,
was,
could
oh, we
be,
finally redeveloped that area. It's
could be.
finally, that'd make more sense. That'd be a bit more believable for us, I
Mm.
feel.
A
But they
rival
did this in
garage.
Corrie, didn't they? They
Yeah, with
added
the
a
precinct.
precinct, yeah,
Yeah,
and they added
yeah,
it and they
yeah.
made it sound like it's always been there. And it's just like, what do you mean the precinct? It's been there for like 65 years.
Yeah,
What are you talking about?
I'm always down there. What are you on about?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I'm excited by it because a rival garage sounds exciting actually because I like
Mm,
those sort of rivalries and it's sort of
yeah.
that's very EastEnders, isn't it? Sort of have the boys from the Archers kind of getting into a rivalry with some other sort of garage, so
Mm,
that's potentially quite exciting.
yeah.
And it's. I don't know when this stuff's going to start appearing on screen. I have a feeling it's going to kind of be drip fed rather than just appear one day in
Mm,
some
yeah.
huge drone shot that's going to kind of just pan over the new area and we're just going to be like, this has always been there. So I guess we'll see, but maybe in the next few months might start to
Yeah.
see some clues about these new set. I don't know if they've actually finished building it yet. I don't know, but
I feel
it's
like they've
happening.
kind of dripped little bits in. Like we saw the garage when Sonia left, all the garages and stuff.
Yeah,
We're
yeah,
seeing bits, so I wonder if they'll do some kind of thing like a big, drone view of everything when it
maybe.
does come or something. Yeah,
We shall
interesting to see how
have
it plays out.
Yeah, we shall have to wait and see, but potentially very, very exciting. Another comment from Virginia Williamson, who has said, "It's a shame for Barney. He's stuck in this dysfunctional family. Hopefully, he winds up with Zach. The whole thing with Barney is heartbreaking. She should have believed Harry. How many guys come along who are decent, who will defend your honor, who will love you that much? It's truly awful for Barney. Joel's a cad, like a snake. He's slick, smooth as oil." Mm. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
yeah, that family is a mess, really, isn't it? If you look at now what we were presented with this week, the family are a mess, and you think you've got problems. Is all I would say.
Well,
Look at that.
that's
Look at
what's
that lot.
that's what Zach's been saying though, isn't it, since he's
Yeah,
found out, like, receipt state of you lot.
yeah,
Although Barney is very grounded out of them all.
he is. He's the
Mm,
wisest out of all of them, isn't he? He's kind of
yeah,
taken.
definitely.
He's kind of like it was the nature versus nurture thing. He's kind of taken Teddy's sort of calm sort of demeanor
Mm,
and got Nicola's sort of brains and has turned himself into a decent human being as opposed
mm.
to
But it's funny though, isn't it? Because they're saying that actually it was Barney that made Teddy become calm, if you remember, when he
yeah,
was
yeah,
little and he realised that he were like different,
yeah.
for
Which
want of a
kind of
better
makes you,
word, which made him
yeah,
say, oh, that's what calmed Teddy down.
yeah. Which kind of makes you wonder what he's going to be like when he finds out the truth.
Yes, definitely. We've got another comment here from Sylvie Deroches. I apologise if I didn't say your surname correctly then. Intense episode for sure. Oh my God, the anger, the acting was superb. Joel is bad, bad news, and it's unfortunate that Avani will have her heart broken by this bad boy. My heart broke for Barney, but Avani is reacting right now. She went through such an incredible ordeal. She's reacting to everything.
Yes, Joel's bad, 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 wrong and sinister. It's just, I mean, I really, really hope that they go the full hog with this storyline because it's like I say, it's just so, so important.
Is
Um,
Avani the right person for them to do it to,
I think
considering what
so,
she's just been through? Do you think?
but I think
I feel
that's the,
like
I
it's a
think
lot.
it is a lot, but I also feel like there's gonna be like she's vulnerable at the moment, and that's what these
That
people
is
prey
true.
on. So you
That
needed
is
some,
true.
you needed something to make her into that vulnerable state in order for a predator to be able to attack.
Yeah,
So
because had what's gone on and what's going on with the family and how she's
mm,
feeling betrayed by them all and everything,
yeah,
if that had not been going on, I think that she would have, a bit like Sylvie said, like she probably would have believed Barney
yeah,
otherwise.
yeah,
But her immediate, well, she was just reacting when she's like, oh, another person trying to rule my life, rather
yeah,
than actually going, oh, what's this, Barney? Seeing as though I trust your judgment and your word, but
yeah.
instead react, react,
And then
react.
all Joel has to do is, all right, so you don't react well to people telling you what to do, so I guess I'll just do the opposite, shall I?
Yeah, so I'll
Easy.
manipulate it so it doesn't look like I'm doing that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
Scary times. Right, that's it for this week, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for listening. If you'd like to get in touch with us, you can do the following.
You can find us on Facebook at Albert Square After Dark, on Twitter and Instagram at E20 After Dark. If you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to like and subscribe. You can listen to us on Apple and all your favourite podcast sites. Drop us an email at e20afterdarkpodcast@gmail.com. And if you'd like to buy us a coffee, you can do so by going on buymeacoffee.com/E20 After Dark.
Boom! Perfect. How excited are we about the soap awards, Ray? Very, very
So
excited. So
excited. So
excited.
excited.
You wait till you see our outfits, by the way.
Oh
We
gosh.
are
Well, we're
gonna
now
look glam.
rethinking them, aren't we? We thought we had
You
them
are.
and now we've just been
Yeah.
discussing, oh, shall we wear this instead? So
Mm,
just wait and see though.
wait
They're
and
going to be
see.
fabulous.
But very, very exciting. Can't wait to
Yes.
go and can't wait to bring you all the goss from the red carpet as if we're going to be allowed anywhere near that area.
From the sides of the red carpet.
We're going to film, I'm going to film Ree trying to jump over the gates.
Like, what do you mean? Don't you recognise me? I'm one of the Panisars.
Yeah.
You know, I'd love it if they believed me.
Yeah.
Sneaking a
Oh, she's a
photo with
Panisar, right?
them.
Fair.
Yeah,
Yeah, let her in. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Exciting. Very, very exciting. So yeah, that episode will be coming at the probably at the start
Well,
of
it's
next month.
31st of May, so
Yeah,
yeah, we start of June.
start of June. So stay tuned for that. And we'll be back same time next week. I do believe next week we might be seeing the new Vic. I
Oh,
think, and see how much
yeah,
hasn't
round now, isn't it?
changed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
See how much
yeah.
I've managed they managed to get the pictures in exactly the same place, whether the wallpaper is exactly the same, what they've done, if anything, different to the upstairs. Let's see what
There'll
they've
be some
managed.
slight difference, yeah,
Yeah.
upstairs. So maybe that'll be the compromise that they did. So
Yes.
Linda's got her,
The
everything's the same
bar. Yeah.
downstairs, and Elaine's gone rogue upstairs.
Gone mad
Oh, I wonder
upstairs.
what Elaine would have upstairs. I feel like she'd have. I actually feel like I should go a bit like Phil's house, Cat's design.
Yes,
With
yeah,
like dark blue and black kind of vibes. I could
I
feel
reckon
him
so.
going for that.
I reckon
Either that
so.
or it's going to be bright red.
Mad, mad,
Darling.
darling.
Yes.
Mwah! Bring it on.
All
Bring
over the walls.
all over the walls and just on and like quotations of like drinks around the house written all over the walls and
Live,
so it's
laugh,
full of
love. Live,
typing. Yeah.
laugh, love.
Live, laugh, love. Right, that's it for this week. So until next week, ladies and gentlemen, it's goodbye from me.
Bye from me.
See you next week. Bye.
Bye.